Good morning. What's up, Amanda?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Hi, everyone. We are really excited to have our friend here this morning, Michal Radar Vrátný of Prague. We've been wanting to have him on for a while, and we finally got it together. I'm just going to give you a little background on Radar. He is an RKC instructor, a primal move instructor, which is now ground force method, correct?
Yes.
FMS, and an Amazing 12 instructor, which is where we met in Dublin 6 years ago, and had that experience together, and I've been following him ever since because Radar is a businessman, entrepreneur extraordinaire. He's got quite a business going on in the Czech Republic. A lot of coaches with him, and a lot of great systems going on. And so, yeah, welcome, Radar. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. First of all, I want to say I'm not native English speaker, so I'm really sorry to all English speaking people for bastardizing their language. I'm gonna try to do my best to make as much sense as I can. So that's first
fine. You're doing great. You're doing great. So tell us, Radar, tell us about your business in the Czech Republic. Tell us about all your businesses, actually. And I know that you have developed a system for coaches and for clients that works really, really well. And if you could just give us a little background on that, that would be great.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, I started this in like 2011 in Prague, Czech Republic. That was way before CrossFit was a thing in Europe or in Czech Republic. So pretty much like group classes of strength and conditioning were unheard of. And I was also not really certain to go that way. I wanted to start to do like workshops and seminars and teach people how to train with kettlebells at home. And then people started to go to those workshops and seminars, and then they started to email me like, yeah, okay, great. So we learned how to use the kettlebells. We bought it. We have it at home. And now it's only collecting dust, and we cannot force ourselves to do some training, and we don't know how many sets and how many reps. So if you could just, like create a small group where we could train together. I'm like, are you guys crazy? Like, you want to come to me and give me money just to say to you, like do 5 sets of 10 or so? It's just crazy. And they're like, no, but we are already 4 people. So you just, you find like 2 or 3 more, and that's a group of 7, 8 people, and we can start. And I'm like, okay, so we will start just to show you guys that this is complete nonsense. So I did this in January 2012, expecting the whole thing to be dead by like 3 months. So it's been 8 years, and it's actually not dead. Yeah, and at the beginning it was all about kettlebells. It was all about like me going to the gym. It was I just rented a time slots in somebody else's gym, and it was me going by tram to the gym and like writing a training program for that given day in the tram, and everybody in the group was training the same training. But then, some people left the group, some new people came, and all of a sudden it just stopped making sense to train the same thing with all the people in the group. And also then the kettlebell started to be a thing in Czech Republic back then. So some media started to come to the gym and make interviews with me, and it started to slowly grow, and I started to have like more groups. And all of a sudden I realized I cannot really do just random trainings, like writing a training plan for the given training in the tram. I needed like a bigger picture. And then also, like in a year or so, we moved to our own gym, and I started to have coaches, like two or 3 coaches. And all of a sudden, because before all of the training programs of all the people in the gym were in my head, so it was easy. But all of a sudden, you have I don't know, like 2, 3 coaches. And you cannot like copy paste your brain into their brain, So I had to develop a system to be able to have groups of like 12 to 14 people. And what we do nowadays, it's obviously not kettlebells only anymore. It's like all the different stuff: barbells, dumbbells, chains, everything that I think is effective for developing strength and conditioning. That's there in the system. And It can be that you come to the training where it's like 14 people and 14 different training programs. The coach is running, between all the people and correcting the technique and then, making hints for the training plan and stuff like this. So we introduced like a standardized training programs. Let's say you come to our gym. We have a basic like 8 to 10 week program for you. We have a system of benchmarks. So let's say, okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, so you start. Pretty much the first thing you do in the first training is the squat. It's the goblet squat, and we teach you this in a really quick manner. Like we just put a few basic cues, like the knees pointing the toes and the straight back, and everybody knows about this. And then the people start squatting with super light weight. And the next training we add a little weight, and we keep adding a weight, and we keep adding sets, and we keep adding reps until the people work up to a certain height, which can be like 24 kilo kettlebell for women, 32 for men, and a certain reps and sets. And if they can do it, and if the technique is good, then we know the person is really for like a barbell front squats or kettlebell front squats or whatever, So with every exercise, we have a chain of like benchmarks or achievements that we want the people to hit before we move them to some progression. Of course, sometimes for like a 45 kilo women, it's really hard to hit like 5 sets of 10 with 24 kilo bells. So sometimes you can make a little adjustments. So it's not like set in stone, it's like Paul McElroy says that the training program or designing a training program is an art and science. So there's a component of science in it, but also some intuition of the coach. But more or less, it's based on this.
Sounds great.
Very cool. And how many gyms do you have now, Radar?
How many what? Students?
Gyms.
Oh,
so
gyms. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty funny story right now, because we have 2 gyms in Prague. We were this close to opening a third one, and then the COVID hit. So that kind of didn't happen. And then we have 3 affiliates in 3 different cities in Czech Republic. Now we have a huge demand to open more affiliates in more cities. So we are looking into that, how we can streamline it really effectively. Because if you have like 3 gyms, it's easy. If you want to have like 5, 6 more, and then you really need to start to think about like creating a really in-depth training manual for the coaches, also like marketing manual and stuff like this, because it's all connected, So right now the biggest subject for us, or one of the biggest subjects, is to really create like a system for creating more and more affiliates, because we don't want just create a gym during like a weekend course. We want to keep the certain quality, So that's not really that easy. But I'm pretty sure we will, like within a year, we will manage that.
What type of training do your coaches have to go through before they're on board with you and your system?
I'm pretty certain that a great athlete doesn't make a good coach, or he can be, but not necessarily. So actually, the number one quality I'm looking for in a coach is whether or not he is good with people. So communication, a little bit of psychology, but not like psychology students, but the, let's say the natural, the ability to guess what kind of person is this is a student that I'm working with, because some of the people are the mathematical types that you have to talk angles and percents. Some of those are like the artistic types. You need to really talk in really abstract terms, and it's really I found that it's really important to be able to have a good guess what kind of person you are working with, because then you can kind of adjust yourself to his level, and then the work with him is much more comfortable for you, and also for him too. And also you might be completely unable to adjust yourself to his level, and then it's better to say just, you know, maybe you go work with somebody else because this is not going to work between us. So this is actually the number one quality that I'm looking for. This is based on experience. In the past, I had people that were super awesome athletes. They were really knowledgeable about the training, and then they stood in front of the class and they were pretty much unable to open their mouth and start talking, you know. And then the people from the class started to write me emails like, you know, we have this feeling that this guy really doesn't know anything. And I'm like, what the hell? He's training for 15 years. He's super, you know, knowledgeable about everything. And then I realized it's not that he doesn't have the knowledge. He just cannot sell it, and he cannot talk to people. And then I realized that this is really the most important thing for me, because it doesn't really matter how strong the coach is. If you can make somebody strong, it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to necessarily be strong. It's obviously a plus. It's good if you are a good athlete and strong and conditioned and, you know, all those things, but it doesn't matter, or it's not that important if you work with people and you want to make them better. What is more important is if you can actually talk with them, if you can motivate them, if you can find the right way how to speak with them so they understand and comprehend. And then, of course, you need to be able to write the training plans, and you need to be able to teach the movements and stuff like this. But that all can be learned, you know. If you are a complete rookie as a coach, if you are good with people, within a few weeks, I can teach you everything you need to be able to coach people in terms of strength and conditioning. But if you are a complete asocial introvert, I don't know, you know, computer geek, you know, not willing to talk to anybody, I cannot teach you how to talk with people, you know. That's something that has to be inside of you.
Right. How do you go about finding coaches to work for you?
That's really hard. Most of our coaches come from the lines of our students. So that's pretty much the easiest way how to get new coaches, because they've been working with us for a few years. They already know a lot of stuff, because we don't just train people, we really try to educate them, you know. So they are pretty much ready in terms of technical stuff. Then you just have to put in the how to teach stuff and how to write training plans and how to organize the group, you know. And if they are already able to, if they are already communicative and able to communicate with people, that's all just a matter of 1 or 2 weeks to get them ready. So,
right.
So the majority of my coaches are evolved from my students. Some of them were hired from outside. Sometimes you get lucky and get really great people. Sometimes you don't get so lucky, and then you just have to let them go. Yeah.
You're not myself.
But honestly, like, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Honestly, like right now, like we are, especially in Prague, we are starting to be like in the last 1 or 2 years, we started to be really the thing. Like pretty much everybody knows us in Prague. So so we have a lot of people coming, like applying for the job. So that's better. Like now it's easier than before, and we can choose a little bit. Now we have one super great girl who I really want to be. She is our former student. Like 5-6 years ago, she trained with us. Then she moved to New Zealand. She's really great. And so we started to negotiate, and she's getting back from New Zealand. We started to negotiate the terms of her being our coach in like January or February. And now she's stuck in New Zealand, cannot get back because of the crazy quarantine and stuff.
And you personally, you train all of your coaches, right? You yourself.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's great. That's good.
Yep.
With COVID, which we've all experienced, obviously, where do you guys stand now? Are you starting to open again, or things kind of getting back to normal?
Well, so it was super crazy situation for me, because I went to Norway at the end of February for snow kiting, and I was there for 2 weeks. And I was leaving Czech Republic when we had like 3 cases or 4 cases. Norway had 1. So I went. The first week was pretty great. Great wind and great weather, great snow. So we did a lot of snow kiting. The second week was either no wind or super hardcore wind where you cannot ride. So I was stuck in the cabin. And then that was the week when the COVID started to really be the subject and the thing, and all the Italy went down. You know, they went for full lockdown and stuff like this. And because I had all the time in the world, I was sitting there in the snowy cabin. You know, couldn't do anything much. So I read a lot of articles. And I listened to a shitload of podcasts, and I read also some books. And I really sucked in a lot of information about the pandemics in general, and about COVID. And then I realized the gym may be one of the worst places for the spread of the virus, you know, like people sweating and heavy breathing, and it's not really the cleanest environment, you know. So I was like, 2 days before Czech Republic went to full lockdown, I was like, guys, we need to stop the operation. Like, let's not contribute to the pandemic. Let's be reasonable here, and let's stop. So we started to prepare for our own lockdown, and then the government came and they said, okay, just, you know, everybody locks down. So we were like, yeah, okay, we were already ready for this. So all the other gyms were like super pissed off about this, and I get it, because it's not really easy for all of a sudden to you know, to shut down. But we were actually prepared for this. So the first weekend, we took all of our kettlebells and we put them in 10 cars and we distributed them among our students, so they could train at home. We developed a system for online trainings. We showed a lot of videos for warm-ups and technique tips for the exercises, and created a training program for like 2-3 months for training at home. So within just a few days, we just switched everything to online, you know. Yeah. And then we sat down and we are like, so what are we gonna do now? And like the gym is closed, and we don't really want to sit at home and look on Netflix or something. We have to do something. And a good friend of mine, he has a big company for 3D printers. Actually, a huge company. They are the number 1 company in the world, actually. So they started to produce those masks, those shields for doctors. And I'm like, yeah, this is super great. We need to come up with something, like we want to help also, you know. And they distributed like 150,000 of those shields to doctors and medical personnel. And we are like, you know, the last crisis, 2008, the biggest problem there was that everybody was super scared to spend money, you know, and that really like stopped the economy. And that's why we had a few years of bad years. So let's motivate people to go to like a local stores and local restaurants and spend some money there. So we came up with this initiative that's called I Spend Money on the Corner, which sounds super crappy in English, but super great in Czech, where we started to motivate people to go to different stores and restaurants and cafes, you know, that because this was open, you cannot go inside during the quarantine, but they can give you like food in like through the door or something. Or we had this delivery services and stuff like this. And this actually started to be a pretty people started to really talk about this, and we also went to a couple of media and newspapers with this. So it really helped us to like you know, we stayed in the spotlight because of this, because all of the other gyms just did something like you know, online training with backpack or plastic bottles, and I'm like, if we do this, then we do the same like everybody else does. So we have to do something else to stay seen, you know, to stay in the spotlight. So we as we say in Czech, we killed 2 flies with 1 stone. We helped a lot of businesses to stay alive, and we have really like proof for this, that a lot of businesses came to us and said, because you started this initiative, it really helped us to survive this quarantine. And also we had some PR points from this, so it's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then because we had like 700 students in before the quarantine. and we have pretty strong communities. So the community really helped us to survive this whole thing. Some people send us some money, you know. Some people never stop paying for their membership, because we have like a 3-month membership. So some of the people's memberships ended during the quarantine, and they just extended it. So this is me thanking all of the people that really helped us survive this. And we were getting ready to open mid-May. And then at the end of April, the government came. There was Thursday night, and they came and they said, "Okay, Monday you open." And we're like, "What?" Like in 3 days, we just started to paint and repair the air conditioning and everything. So we are not ready for this. So we decided not to open when they allowed us to. We decided to postpone the opening for 1 week. But the first few weeks were only 8 people per class. Everybody has to have a face mask. We cannot have the showers and the locker rooms. So it's pretty much like, yeah, you can open, but in reality, you pretty much can't. So the full opening was this Monday. This Monday, we could open in full capacity with showers, with locker rooms. So yeah. So this week's been pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'll say, well, we appreciate you coming on, because I know you're really busy. And I have to say, that is what you just said is one of the things I love the most about you, because you're always a step ahead of the game, but you're always doing it from your heart. I mean, I watch everything you do online, and, you know, kind of keep in contact with you over the years, and you're always helping some radar, and it comes back to you every time you watch. I can sit here and watch it happen, you know, on social media.
Yeah, thank you.
Something really great. So yeah, that's why you're such a brilliant businessman, you know.
That's super nice of you to say. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, who's getting on here? No, but you know, I'm a big believer in just doing good, you know, and always in my life, when, you know, I sacrificed some profit or something for let's say some good deed or something, it always paid back like tenfold, you know. So I have just a really great experience with this, and also it's kind of super fulfilling when you know that you do something that helps somebody, you know. That's pretty much the reason I started to train people in the first place. So yeah, I'm trying to do my best.
Yeah.
Well, it really is true, though, and I think that when you look around now at all the businesses throughout the world, and it's very interesting that we're all experiencing this globally, that the people who have stayed positive and who have just sort of right out of the chute tried to do something positive and then stayed positive in their own community seem to be doing a lot better than the ones who just got angry and gave up, and you know, at least that's, and I'm seeing that in my own community, and I'm in a small town on the Oregon coast. So it's a very global phenomenon that we're going through.
And I think that this whole global crisis really, you know, made this point stand out. I mean, so the government, you know, we just at some point we just stopped. We just didn't care anymore, because they were like, you know, politics. They're just arguing about everything, all those shady people, you know. So at some point we just didn't care anymore. So these aren't really the inspiring people. But then so we had the luck that we were one of the latest countries to get the COVID, you know. So we had the experience from Spain, from Britain, from Italy. So actually, in the first phase, our politics were really able to pull the handbrake, you know, with the lockdown and everything, because we had just a few thousand of cases here, you know. We really avoided the bullet. But that was the first phase. They just pulled the handbrake, and that was it, you know. They didn't like provide much support for the people. And then the businesses and the people started to provide the support. Like this friend of mine with the 3D printing, they made these shields, and then within like 2 days, a group of entrepreneurs put together money to buy the lung ventilators for the ICUs, and a lot of businesses really started to help the people. And you know, nobody is sitting there and saying, yeah, those those shitheads, they help people, fuckers. No, nobody says this. It's like, yeah, that's great that they do it. That's inspiring. So let's also do something. And then the people started to make the face masks, because we had this big problem. Then when the outbreak was in China, our government sent like millions of face masks to China. And then when the situation came to us, we had none, So the people just took old T-shirts and stuff like this and start to make them at home. And then another friend of mine, he has like a burger joint, and he said, if you come to us and you give us 3 face masks, we give you a burger for free. So they collected like 1,000 of face masks, then they distributed them to hospitals. And you see those stories, and you get really inspired to do good. So that's good. Like good just inspires to do more good, and that's great. No.
That's right. Absolutely. Jeez. Okay. Awesome. Let's go back to business just a little bit. Mm-hmm. You had mentioned something when we spoke before about how you run your memberships at your gym, because mm-hmm. I think now it's kind of important to talk about this, as coaches a lot of coaches and people have lost their gyms, they've lost their businesses, due to COVID, and they're looking for ways to, or just some information or guidance of how maybe to rebuild stronger. And maybe mm-hmm. you can shed a little light on that for them, Radar.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I don't know. Okay, so first of all, we are membership based. The shortest period of time you can buy with us is 1 month, but it's super expensive. I mean, not like super expensive, but it's intentionally way more expensive than it should be. So we kind of like try to we try to make people go for a 3-month membership at least, because the experience is that if you stay 3 months with us, you see some results, and you stay for years. We have people who are training 8-9 years with us, which is crazy. So that's the goal, because it's always way in business wise, in terms of costs, and effort, it's always way easier to keep the current clients than to look for the new ones, So that's the first thing we do. We try to take care of our clients as well as we can. And that's also the reason why we sell preferably the 3 or 6 month memberships. With losing a business and coming back, it's kind of, I don't know. I never lost my business, actually, so I don't have much to say about this. What this crisis did for us, we realized that a lot of meetings can be calls or emails. So we are trying to save a lot of time with this. We introduced coaches calls. We had with my coaches, we have like instructor training once per week, where we focus on technical stuff, but also communication skills, also marketing skills, pretty much anything what is needed for a coach. But with because we were in lockdown, we tried to call or make a conference call with all the coaches like every 2-3 weeks. And we will keep this for forever, probably, because I want, we realized that we gather a lot of feedback from the students, but we actually never gathered any or much feedback from the coaches in terms of like employment, like, are you actually comfortable with doing this job? Are you satisfied? Is there anything you would like to change? And now we start to gather feedback from inside, and it really helped us to make some processes more effective and ditch some things we did before and introduce some new ones. Because if you are alone, you have your gym, you train people, you have maybe 1 or 2 coaches, it's easy, it's super easy. But then when it starts to grow, at one point you need to realize it's not like a few friends playing with dumbbells. as much as I really resisted to ever get to this point, it really starts to be a company, and you need to introduce some stuff that really works for other companies, you know, so like internal communication and distribution of information. That starts to be really super important, and that's where we are really shitty at, because I have pretty much zero practical experience from any other company. You know, I started doing this when I was 21, so I never really worked anywhere else. So I'm kind of trying to pick it up on the go, and it's more about putting down fires than than coming up with great ideas. Yeah, but you know, I know my strong sides and I know my weaknesses. So I try to hire people that are good in the things that I'm actually really sucky at.
That's the key right there.
Yeah.
And you're very young. How old are you now?
Yeah, I'm not that young anymore. I'm 32 this year.
He's not that young.
You know,
I mean,
Oh.
you're hot and you're 32.
Yeah.
That's great. So when we started this podcast, we're going to move on a little bit, because when we started this, it was just Amy and I talking to each other and talking about the things we love, which are training, our training methodologies, but also the other things that we like to do, and travel. So
yeah,
we know that you're a professional skydiver and kiteboarder, but let's tell us a little bit about your skydiving experiences. And let me just say, I don't think I'm ever going to do that, Radar.
Yeah.
I'll do a lot of things.
It's like if you know that that it's not something that is something that's not for you, just don't do it. You know, don't force yourself into it. But if you are a type of person who is like, maybe I would really love to try it, just go for it. Because, you know, we have been here for tens of thousands of years, like, I mean, people. And this is actually the first time in history you can do something like this. So only by this token, you should really go for it, because your grandfather probably couldn't try it, you know, or your grandfather couldn't try it, and all the people before that, they never could experience anything like this without dying. So now you can actually do it and survive, which is really great. Also, I want to say I'm nowhere near to be a professional skydiver. I'm doing it as a hobby, and also in terms of skydiving, I'm actually a rookie. You know, I've been doing this for like 7 years now, but the last 3 years were like really serious, and I did like something above 420 skydives and like 50 hours in a tunnel, which for someone who did like one tandem jump or is like considering doing one may sound like a lot, but it's actually skydiving kindergarten, you know. After like 1,000 jumps, it started to really be a thing, you know. You start to really fly some interesting stuff, and I know people who have like 35,000 skydives. So with 400 is really just, you know, elementary school or kindergarten. But on the other hand, I try to, so you can either do like fun jumps, which mean either you go solo or you just you know, put up a bunch of friends and you just jump out of the plane with or without the plan. Or you can do coach jumps, which means you are one-on-one or in a group of people where it's one experienced skydiver, a coach. Usually this all is taped on camera, so then when you land and pack your parachute, you sit down with the computer and you debrief the jump, you know, analyze the mistakes and everything, because skydiving actually is a highly technical sport, a highly technical discipline. You know, you are flying through the air in like 300 kilometers per hour. I have no idea how much is that in miles per hamburgers or whatever you have in America. So just Google it. But it's a super high speed, you know. It's high speed. It's like you go on a highway, you open the window and you take your hand out. So multiply this by 3, and it's pretty much the sense you are getting in the air. You know, you don't feel like falling. You feel like flying super fast.
Yeah.
And you basically create a wing out of your body, you know, because in a way that you are trying to fly through the air reacts to the position of your body. So every body movement counts. Like, is your chin like tucked or like this? Are your shoulders like this or like this? Are your hands symmetrical? Like everything counts. And because the speed is so high, the energy is super high. So every small movement can mean like, it can even cause like a disaster. You can hit somebody else in the air, and if you take two 80-kilo guys hitting each other in 300 kilometers per hour, usually that's not ending with happy ending. Yeah, but I always used to say that skydiving is super safe, and then I reconsidered. It's not super safe. It's super dangerous, but it can be done in a super safe way. So if you are really considerate about yourself, about your skill level, about the conditions, weather, about your gear, about the parachute and the rig and everything, and then you can do it. You can do this really safely. And in my 7 years of skydiving, I never had any. I had some close calls, yeah, but I had never any difficulty, any like dangerous situations. So it all comes down to like it's like the same with cars. You can drive a car in a super safe way, or you can drive it like a crazy person and kill yourself or a bunch of other people. So it's pretty much the same.
Right. And so is the skydiving, is that kind of what led you to snow kiting? Is that what it's called, or kiteboarding?
Yeah. Actually, snow kiting is you have a kite and you have a snowboard or ski, and you do this in the snow. And kiteboarding is the same, but you do this in the water, like seaside shoreline, Yeah. So I never did any kiteboarding. I never went to the water. I don't like water that much. I like heights and I like snow, but I don't like sea. So I do snow kiting. Yeah. It's the same principle. Like definitely the kite is way smaller than the parachute, the canopy. But the principle is the same. It's a wing. And the wind is still the same. So you try to control either the parachute or the kite. So these two disciplines pretty much complement each other. And you really, it's all about, you know how it is. Every skill is about spending time with it. So if you can skydive in the summer and snow kite in the winter, then those two pretty much complement each other, which is great.
Yeah. There's a girl that I went to college with, ski team together, and she does this. So she's on the lakes in the summer, the snow in the winter, and she's like, you need to come back and do this both times of year. Yeah. And I would do that. I want to be on the ground. That's my thing. Or on the water. It doesn't matter. Not in the air though.
Yeah.
And you did that in Norway, right?
Yes. Norway is like the mecca for snow kiting. The Red Bull is every year throwing a big competition there. It's called Ragnarok. It's like the biggest snow kiting competition in the world. It's super crazy, because if you are skiing or snowboarding, the energy the energy is provided by gravity, but here it's provided by the wind. So you can go downhill, you can go uphill, you can go on a straight surface, and you can cover some serious distances, So the Red Bull Ragnarok is like, I think it's like 3 or 4 days. So you pack all the gear in the backpack. It's I think it's groups. It's like groups of 2 or 3 people, and you have a tent in your backpack, and you have food for 3 days and everything, and you just go, and you cover like 120 kilometers or so during those days. If it's no wind, then you just walk on your skis, like how is it called? I don't know the word for it, but you can walk on the skis. If there's wind, you just put up your kite and you go, and you try to cover as much distance as you can in those 3 days, and you sleep in the snow and everything. It's super hardcore, super crazy, but also a respect for all the guys that take part in it. So so this, because there is like a huge highland in Norway. It's like a national park with a lot of lakes that are frozen for the majority of the year. So that's a nice straight surface that you can kite on, and it's like it's super huge. It's like 150 to 150 kilometers, and there's only one road. There are no trees. There is no power lines. No nothing. So because all those things are dangerous for kiting, because your kite can get entangled on a tree or power lines or something, or the worst case scenario, it can get entangled with a car, and then it gets really messy. So this is like a no man's land, where like it's like a paradise for snow kiters. So yeah, Norway is really great, and for like 6 or 7 months in a year, there's great powder snow and great wind conditions. So, and it's also super nice nature, because the Norway is it's a huge country with a like relatively small amount of people. So there are some really nice pieces of nature there, and I really love it there. Not the Norwegians necessarily, but Norway is nice.
Not the Norwegians.
Yeah, you know, the Czech people are super friendly. We are hugging and kissing all the time, and all the people in Scandinavia are like, no, social distancing by default, you know.
I was supposed to go there for a month this summer with my German friend. I was going to fly to Germany, and then we were going to fly to the northernmost airport there and just do a lot of hiking and camping for a month. And of course, that's been canceled, but that is definitely my next stop, is Norway.
It's highly recommended. Whether in the summer or in winter, both of the seasons are. I was there like, I don't know, numerous times. Both the seasons are super nice. In the summer, it's a lot of rain. So I recommend end of August, maybe September. It's probably the nicest part of the year there in terms of rain. But it's still going to be raining, like, but you can get maybe some sunny days. No, but it's really great. And also they try to, for the tourists, like hiking in Czech Republic, we have like super strong history of hikers. So there's actually something called the Czech Hikers Club, and in pretty much all Czech Republic is covered with like hiking tracks, and they're marked like every 200 meters or 500 meters. There's like a tourist mark, so you can never get lost, Yeah. And then I first came to Norway in 2009, 8 or 9, I think. And I actually by accident went to the same spot that I'm snow kiting now, the same national park, But I was there in the summer, and I was in the south side, and so we went there. And there's no tourist marks, no nothing. So also no tracks. Like the Norwegians try to provide the super hardcore and experience with the nature. So it's not like cultured in any way. So you just go there. Every like 1 or 2 kilometers, there's a how do you call it? Like a small pile of stones with a red T. And that's your mark, but you have to have a map, you have to have a compass, and you go. There's no cell phone reception, there's no people. We never met anybody there in 3 days that we were there. We only met some sheep. If there's like a small stream, you just cross it barefoot. If it's bigger, then maybe sometimes they put up like a log bridge or something, but the experience with the nature, I don't think like it's really exciting to get as much isolated from the normal world stuff, like you cannot really experience this in Czech Republic because the population here is so dense that you go to the forest, you cross the forest, and then there's a village on the other side. But here in Norway, you go for 5 days and you meet nothing, no houses, no people, and it's strange, but also kind of meditative. Really recommend it. Go for it.
I'm going to go for it. And we were actually going to go the end of August, early September, but because of her job, it's, all of her stuff's been pushed back. So it's probably going to be next summer, but yeah, definitely gonna make that one. And I'm coming to the Czech Republic. I'll come.
Yeah, you need to.
I know.
I told you on several occasions that Prague is the nicest city in the world, and it really is.
I know.
It's super nice here.
Yes, I would definitely want to do that. That is absolutely in the plan for sure. So what's your next travel plan? Do you have anything lined up, or can you?
Actually, I don't, because I spent last 3 years traveling. Last year it was super dense. I was pretty much 7 months maybe outside of Czech Republic, and it really I felt like it really started to hurt my business, and I have a great staff. I have a great team of coaches. They really, I didn't really have to do anything for a year pretty much. And they kept the business alive, you know. But then I realized, we need to, you know, I can never step in one. I can never stay in one place. I'm a kind of person. I always need to have something like the donkey with the carrot. You know, I always have to have something inside in my aim, and I need to go for it. And so we decided we want to create more affiliates, and we want to create the system for being able to establish them. Also, we want to expand outside of our country. So because we have some demand from the people all around Europe, also some people in Asia that want to copy our system. So we are putting this together. So at the beginning of the year, this year, I decided I'm not doing any travel. So I had only in January I was in Warsaw, Poland, for a wind tunnel camp. I was there five days flying in a tunnel, and then I went February or beginning of the March to Norway, and that was it. And these were already decided last year, and I decided I don't go anywhere else the whole year, and I will really focus on the job. And then the COVID hit, and everybody was like super pissed, you know, canceled travel plans and everything. I was like, well, okay. But one of the strongest experiences from my travels was Cuba. I also picked up some Spanish there, so I wanna learn Spanish, and then the South America is the big dream destination for me. Yeah. Never been there. I'm pretty much convinced there's a lot to explore and a lot to get to know. So that's like the next step, like within 2-3 years or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot to explore down there. I've gone a little bit to South America and done all of Central America. And it's all completely culturally diverse and different terrains, and everything's there, you know. A lot like, I mean, it's just like any continent, you know. They've got the snow, they've got the beaches, they've got the mountains, they've got anything you want, you know, yeah. Rainforest, whatever. So, yeah, awesome.
And it's massive. It's huge. I mean,
it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, so the travel in Czech Republic because we had socialism here for quite some years, so we couldn't really do much travel. So all the travels was like to Romania and Yugoslavia, you know, and Poland, and it always looked like, yeah, we pack our car with food for 1 week and you know, blankets and everything, and we go there by car and spend the week there, you know, by the sea. And that pretty much for a lot of people, this pretty much stays the idea of traveling. Like you pack and you go somewhere to a hotel by the beach and you spend there 1 or 2 weeks, which is obvious that this has nothing in common with traveling. You know, and traveling in my point of view is going somewhere, spending time with locals, drinking alcohol with them, getting drunk, you know, eating their food, dancing with them, talking with them, and really getting to know the other cultures. And I think this is really, really important. And sadly, not many people in the Czech Republic do it like this. And then we have a lot of people who really, you know, who are really complaining about the life conditions for us here. But actually, I'm pretty much convinced that Czech Republic has one of the best conditions for living in the world, maybe. But you see this only when you start to compare with others, you know, and I don't mean by, you know, TV shows and movies, because that's not reality. You need to go there and spend some time with people from other countries, and then you realize, wow, we have really great conditions here in Prague in comparison to Havana or I don't know, you know. So I think it's really important, and it's really educative, you know. And also you go to all those historical sites, and to be educated in history is also super important, you know, not to make the same mistakes our fathers and grandfathers used to make. So that's the biggest reason why I love traveling. And if I'm able to connect traveling and skydiving, that's even better.
Definitely. Yeah, I always like to, when I'm traveling, to go, I travel with a lot of different friends, and Amy and I have traveled a lot together, but I go ahead of time by myself for a while, just so I can meet some of the locals and meet people there that, you know, live there and experience what they do every day, you know, and I've made some of the best friends that way. It's awesome. Yeah. It's, I always like to be alone a little bit at first, you know, and just kind of see what I can experience and see what, because I mean, if you're with a bunch of people, you're probably not going to really meet strangers in their own land, you know, like they'll readily approach you and invite you to do things or come to their house and eat, or, you know, come to my horse ranch and ride horses. That's what happened to me when I went to Iceland. You know, I got there before Amy and her husband did, and met a great friend now, Hoder, and rode horses with him, you know, for a couple days before they got there.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great. So I really highly recommend that too.
Yeah, and also it's nowadays it's so simple, you know, with all those couch surfing and Airbnbs and everything. So we always, when we travel, like using the Airbnb, we always try to, because you can either have like the whole apartment for yourself, or it's like a shared room with the owner or the people who are living in the flat or in the apartment. So we always try to pick the spots where we can share the apartment with other people. And usually, you know, they try to involve you into their life or make some party or something, you know. And this is really a great way how to connect with new people. And this was never before, like social media and stuff. This was never really the thing. You know, you couldn't just go to London and knock on somebody's doors, you know, and like, hey, can I stay here for a few nights? No, you couldn't do it, but now you can. So it's like with the skydiving. If you have the ability to do it, just go for it. You know, only by the token that nobody before you could actually do it. So you would be really stupid not to do it. You know.
Yeah, I keep encouraging. Amanda and I have boys that are now young men, and I keep trying to tell mine that this is the time to get some traveling in. Because things change as you've discovered with your business. It does get harder as you get older, and if you have a business, you do have to make those choices. And it's someday a family, you do have to make those choices. And until the kids are all grown up, it's hard to do it. And so my kids are 19 and 21, and they're still in school, but I'm encouraging them to do some traveling before they really worry too much about their career, because that's the whole life for that.
Yeah. You know, and I have a friend who's a stand-up comedian, and we actually have also we started our podcast at the beginning of the year, and he was our first guest in our podcast. And so I asked him, where do you get inspiration for your stand-ups? And he said, yeah, well, you need to go out there and have as many experiences as you can. Also some crazy stuff, like you go for a pottery course or something, you know, so you try all of the crazy shit, and you get great ideas for stand-up. And I'm like, yeah, but this is also great for like life experiences, you know. It's not only for stand-up subjects, but also for yourself. So maybe it's a good idea not to just sit at home and watch Netflix, but go out there and do shit, you know. So I highly encourage anybody who's watching or listening to this, go out there and do crazy shit.
Definitely. Okay, and on that, good advice, Radar. This was the fastest hour ever. Oh my gosh. I mean, that flew by. But look, hey, we're gonna do our 10 rapid fire questions now. Is that cool?
Shit, I hate this, but okay, go for it.
They're easy, they promise. Okay, what is your favorite meal?
Favorite what? Meal? Meal. Liver.
That's a first. Okay. Favorite color?
Green.
What's the last book you read?
Why We Sleep, probably. Okay. I think. No. Last one was Lord of the Rings. I reread Lord of the Rings.
All right. What's your most memorable concert?
Oh, any Red Hot Chili Peppers concert.
Right.
They're my favorite band since I was 12 years old. So.
Yep. What is something that people get wrong about you?
Yeah, they think I'm arrogant sometimes, which I'm not.
No, you're too nice. When's the last time you had a hysterical laugh?
Yeah, probably yesterday, I think.
Right. What is your favorite animal?
a cat. And now I'm really starting to how do you say, dive deep into caracals. Do you know caracals? Those bigger cats with big ears.
Oh yes,
They're so nice, so nice. I love them.
They're beautiful. Okay, what is something that you procrastinate?
Oh, yeah, phone calls. I hate phone calls.
What's the last movie you watched?
Yeah, I rewatched Ford versus Ferrari, which is great.
Okay,
Yeah,
I saw that the other day. I'm gonna have to watch that. I haven't seen it yet.
Do
Okay,
it.
and last one. What is your favorite vacation place?
That's tough. Actually none, probably. Because my favorite vacation is based on people I'm with, actually. And that probably would be my skydiving family, which is awesome bunch of people.
Yeah.
So anywhere those crazy skydivers go, I go. And it's awesome because we do it, we make it awesome.
Nice. Share their family. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this was really great, Radar. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really good to catch up with you, and best of luck with reopening everything.
Thank you guys, and best of luck to you too, and stay healthy.
Yeah, you
Yes,
too.
you too.
Take care.
Hey, nice cat.
Yeah. I see Ollie walking back there.
All right, guys. Have a nice
All
day.
right.
Ciao.
Thank you, Radar.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.